has been killed.
Last game with the bristleback.
Yeah, they have some decent tools this game to deal with him. They have the Nyx Assassin, who's one of the best heroes against Timber. They have Gyrocopter, who just deals a ton of single target magic damage. And of course, you have the Elder Titan with its aura. It can potentially just amplify all that magic damage as well. So they can kill him, it's just they need to make sure he doesn't get out of control really early. Like once that hood comes up, he's gonna be an incredibly tough kill.
So we'll see like if he gets that, how this Alchemist is gonna play around this. Usually we see like Void Spirit, that first axe is going to the Void Spirit at what now, like 12-13 minute mark, right?
Yeah, today even earlier, he was only level 8, I think minute 10 he got an Aghanim Scepter, so we'll have to see how the Alchemist does here. The lane is very good for him. He definitely got the better out of the lanes here. Or getting the Alchemist versus Prophet matchup. We'll have to see. Like, Prophet can still deny a lot of base damage.
Really need to make sure that they can clear the farm here for Old 11. Jaunuel, he charges in. He's not going to pay for that, though. The stun was still on cooldown for the Nyx Assassin.
Roots and run.
And it will be pretty much like last game. Like, once the mid laners reach level 6, we'll have to see where the rotations go. Void Spirit can gank Timbersaw pretty efficiently. Lane should be just fine.
Yeah, it's nothing more than that. A little charge over, a little disruption.
3 heroes here from Neon to get that room.
Visibility.
Good movements by the support. But Timbersaw, like, if you're playing with a Timbersaw, you can really just leave him alone. And the +4 is very free.
Right. We'll see how that affects mid lane. Really is what I want to know. If we're going to see more rotations, more aggression like that from Neon, because it certainly can be available to it.
Yeah, it's just Anthony is not the strongest roamer, pre-level 6. He's not a Shadow Shaman, he's not a Tusk, you know.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of utility coming out from him. Jaunuel here, trying to set up for Rune Steal. Void Spirit is moving in. Wise doing the same thing.
He's not going to get it. Coming out from Yopaj. They've got the Silence TP out. It is for rune, full of bounty runes there for Neon.
Precious bounty.
It's 3 for 2 edge in favor of Neon. They're now leading 1k gold. The landing phase is going very well. Just looking at the CS board, mid lane doing very well, and the silence as well.
So the only reason I could see maybe Pango being able to rotate where he's maybe not as strong pre-level 6 is because you've got like a charge that can go into a swashbuckle. You put the two together, if they can meet at the right times, which we were seeing from Vici with 2 other supports, obviously, with the TPs and the timing. And I can see it happen, but right now they're going to just go with the top as well as this Spirit Breaker.
Jaunuel's just dead.
He's just gone. Like, they use that coil, they charge in, and under the tier 1 tower, the immediate rotations from Vici are there to stop this from and Pango, he's finding himself, whoa, not dead, but this is all of a sudden for Neon. They're really trying to make something happen over mid. They want to get it done with the Wrath of Nature.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with the Spirit Breaker there. It was just, you know, I don't know, it was pretty, pretty damn bad, honestly, but it turns out okay because they do get the Void Spirit after his aggression. Like, they thought they had way more damage than they actually did. He wasn't even below half, I think, after the Dream Coil. Like, Spirit Breaker is not a hero that deals a lot of damage.
Yeah, that was an odd position to want to charge in. A little too far. You're right there, ready for a rotation, a gank to come in, but all that being said, it's a 2k lead right now for Neon. They're rolling.
Oh yeah, they're doing fantastically on these side lanes. Like, and still, Void Spirit died, even though the initial gank was a little bit of a fail. But he still died to the Prophet ult, so... Now the side lane tower is gone. Neon is looking in a very good position here. So when did they add an OB, by the way? They did not have that initially.
Not right in time for this event.
I always confuse it with OG now.
It's going to be probably something that messes me up along the lines now that you've said OG. Now it's in my head.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse you.
It's cursed. It's definitely over.
Yeah, it's done. You're done.
So, and this is another game where Neon have taken out a tier 1 tower pretty early on. Last game it was the Lashrak, this time it's the Timbersaw, and this time it's even earlier. Big surprise.
When Neon plays these weirdish lineups with weird carries, that's really when they're at their best. Right. Like they play way better this way than they do with like a traditional hard carry. Like Skem is just so good on his Nature's Prophet. And last time I casted him, he was so damn rich. He was like 10k net worth ahead of the enemy carry at the end of the game. He definitely knows what he's doing on that hero.
Yeah, that was against Fnatic, right?
It was, yeah. Yeah, serious pretty easily.
That's going to be something that they really need to look out for, is how well he's been playing this hero. It's honestly crazy being able to watch him go from that ultra kill we saw him get with Coddle early in the season to now he's playing it at the major, playing in a 1 position spot after all the hardships that he has gone through, and he's still performing at such a high peak.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed with how he's playing.
Like, he knows pretty much every role. He's been a 5-player, 4-player. Look, if you drop off nature, basically, if you think of Deth, that was the last bounce, I believe. So much damage from that. Easy kill.
Yeah, taking out PYW.
Alchemist though, we saw him farm a massive stack there. There was like 3-4 stacks. Now he's up towards the top of the network as well. However, the Gyrocopter is really struggling here, and he's the guy that you're looking for to deal all of damage. Come mid, come late game, and he's not really finding a good foothold in this game right now.
No, not nearly where he wants to be at the moment. Who's got top of the net worth for the Dire side is hold 11 on this Alchemist, but that's to be expected as he's trying to get that trying to get that big timing in for the Void Spirit, which I'm not sure it's gonna be as early as we would have thought, but it's not going to be too far off if this stays the way it is so far. Neon, if they put some pressure on though, they can find an out 1 or 2 times, slow it down even more.
The real question is he going to give it to the Void Spirit or the Gyrocopter? They're both fantastic carries. He might get caught out here.
Just the tree, as Deville just puts it on and almost gets the kill on the Nyx Assassin and finally finished off by Jaunuel. The true blocking there was really well done.
And he did not get the bounty run on Nyx Assassin either. So all good for Neon here now, leading 3k gold against an Alchemist lineup, mind you.
Yeah. And that's due to the fact that what we're seeing right now is Alex the only one who's really securing a good amount of
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures
Gyrocopter is, I mean, he's a decent catch-up hero. He's even back to Flag Cannon to just make sure that he can farm as well as possible. Oh, he actually getting picked off here.
Dire's middle tower is
now they're working for more. They're trying to get this Alchemist. This is exactly what I was talking about. Slow down this Axe, and that could become a problem for the side of Vici. They've gotten on top of this. Nature's Prophet. They hit the sleep on a 2. They do get over. That's what it's going to feel here. That is not someone you want to be losing in the moment. And again, comes out for the Nyx Assassin. They'll use that charge. They've got Bash out on a poyoyo, and with the help of Yopaj, they'll get another kill. They'll take out this Gyro. Neon, yeah, they lose the Nature's Prophet, but they still continue to roll. It is winter, and the snowball is going down the hill.
I mean, they killed the Void Spirit before the fight even started, and then they killed the Alchemist as well as the Gyrocopter. They're getting all 3 cores in a single fight, now up 4k gold. And they're gonna be in trouble here. Like, he will have to choose between either the Void Spirit or the Gyrocopter. They both need the Axe badly. Only give it to one of them. They have Rolling Thunder.
Trying Rolling Thunder in. They've got the Timbersaw to try and help.
Almost dead.
Can they land a sweep? Alright, 2-man sweep. But they still think they're right on top of the monster. They need to be careful how much they're going to commit for this. Or, well, get them in. But some of the things they're really need to do is they'll get the kill off their way. Dream Coil. They're behind the tier 2. It's 12 minutes in. PYW, he goes down right there and aggressive all over the Dire side of the map, and they have no fear in their eyes. They're going for Vici.
Yeah, Vici just can't really find a foothold here. They have Alchemist farming. Nyx Assassin doesn't really deal a whole lot of damage. They just have severe damage problems right now against this Timbersaw. We said he's gonna have a pretty free game, and he's putting that to the test here. Like, he is absolutely owning on this Timbersaw. 5k net worth ahead now, and the map is just getting smaller and smaller, harder and harder to play for VG here. They're even stealing the ancient stack. Everything is going wrong for them. The Wido?
This is just what you want to be seeing for Vici.
Nice. What the hell? Return?
That's not a trade you want to be making. Certainly not a trade you want to be making.
That feels real bad for the Vici side. Poyoyo is just trying to farm away from the Alchemist because he knows the Alchemist is higher priority, but he's just putting himself into really dangerous scenarios here. The first Agon's finished, probably gonna go to Void Spirit. They really need to make sure it pays off.
PYW once again, and this is a huge problem for the Elder Titan. Alchemist's over. I'm not sure what he's gonna do here. Got Override joining in. Snipe Arafist doesn't turn into anything. Done. Poyoyo comes back into the fight. Gets through the Jaunuel, but the two moves on. They have to kill it. That's the stuff up. Similarly, right topping him. More third coming in. The rolling deck here for both these schools. They moved it again. Poyoyo once again, and it will take out more than 11. This is really falling apart the seams here. GG is going to lose DY. Triple kill for DeVille. And I mean, the ring around the rope, see, it seems like eventually he's going to get caught. He will get caught, but does he end up surviving, getting back to the base?
Radiant's
They're always spawning in 10 seconds here. They need to be a bit careful. Neon is really taking it to them. Damn. They're not letting Vici breathe at all. Gyrocopter died back to back. He was the one who received the Aggro Center, so he's still on top of the network, but it's very deceiving.
This is not looking good for Vici. I've said it 100 times already, and we're only a couple times too. 14 minutes in the game, this is not looking good. Neon, they look so pristine right now. Every lane going right, their aggression going well. Something's gotta give if Vici want to win this game.
And I think that answers your question regarding their mentality also. Like they can easily shrug off a bad loss.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Deth just trying to take tier 2 up. And snap the coil. Of course, a charge 17%. That equals 100%. So get the kill into old 11. Deth's got another one.
70% of the time, 100% of the
Radiant's
time it
bottom
hits.
tower is under attack.
Or whatever the saying was.
Dire
I
are
would know.
scanning.
Not play luck-based heroes.
Dire's top
Pure skill
tower
player.
has fallen.
Not skill
Radiant's
at all.
bottom tower is under attack.
The charge coming through here. He has an output as well.
Stun. For a little bit longer. I don't know if it's going to take a fight. And as well as Yopaj trying to come through. He's trying to win this field. He's looking to keep it. Not going to match it. They're going to move over the knee. Probably get a kill. They'll end up making a trade. But it's not good enough. Charging all the way through onto Origin field. Good start out. DY once again. They're trying to protect the Neon side, who's continuing to jump further and further down the grooves of Vici. The question is going to be spin out. He's going to play hard, and now PYW ends up falling. Jaunuel, get out of this. Again, I don't know if Vici really want to chase. They don't feel comfortable in these fights at all.
Yeah, that being said though, the fight was quite good for them. Probably he gets taken out immediately. He doesn't have... Oh, another Dream Call, you're out with?
Oh no, and then once again, he's caught out. The receiver zone is not who you want. You want to play hard, but you're not going to get him. Why out to help out? Spirit and look at the damage deal coming in for both Yopaj and DeVille. They're going to get another one. Now over PYW. Yopaj is behind the tier 2 now. They've got the chakra thrown out. Deth now pushing even further onto the Dire side.
Dire's bottom tower
This
is
is
under
the
attack.
long, really just throwing their aggression into the face of Vici. And for now, Vici is somewhat defending. They're still only 6k down. You know, if you
Dire's
stabilize
middle tower
at like
is
a
under
deficit,
attack.
it's usually a pretty good sign for you that you're doing a decent job at just defending your own heroes.
Can Neon keep this up? Because these fights aren't clean. They are getting kills, but they'll lose DeVille a couple times. Like, the fights aren't exactly looking immaculate for them.
It's risky business because every time they dive there, like, the heroes are still very squishy. Nature's Prophet really needs his BKB in order to play very aggressively into their face. The only real tanky hero here is the Timber Saw. Puck can still easily die, and so can the rest of the lineup. So, as you said, need to be careful.
Radiant
Things can still go wrong here.
Up top, and that's going to leave
Dire's
him
middle
vulnerable.
tower is under
Jaunuel
attack.
needs to get victory and try and find himself out of vision, but it's not happening. And it will be 4 old 11.
They all rotating in. There's a lot of potential for a really big point here.
Looking to charge him. Getting after somebody forward. Yopaj standing up. He's got a 2-on-3 coming through on over 11 as well. Poyoyo looking over. Taking across the panel. And they end up the damage. It's really hard to get the kill. Poyoyo falls once again. Yopaj but they're all going to try to get towards the swashbuckle, but it was that swashbuckle that got chased for him in the lockdown PlayHard. Get that kill to the Pangolier. And again, it's fight after fight from Neon, but every single time Vici is kind of chipping away at maybe a turnaround. 3 heroes dying that whole exchange.
That was 6k, now it's 4k. The Nature's Prophet did not feel confident joining that fight. Like, he's still very brittle. He's on his way to finish the BKB though. Needs 1000 gold to do that. Then after that, they don't really have the best ways of dealing with him. So I expect a lot more aggression out of them once that BKB is finished, but until then, I think they need to slow down a little bit here. They're throwing away a little bit too many bodies, because these exchanges should they kill the gyrocopter. Well, it's still a good trade for VG here.
This is trades that I think are deceiving. You see Neon get a couple of kills, and then you think it's going all right for them, but well. Vici, they're the ones who make it end up working out. DY ends up dead to death. That's Dream Coil used, though, just for the Nyx Assassin.
It's okay to use a Dream Coil on a hero like that, because the coil is very short. And as I said, they want to wait for their BKB, so it makes perfect sense that they used it there. Let's say that, though, Deth, very aggressive posture here. They want to take all the boundary rooms. They get 3 of them.
Yeah, they want to make sure that this Alchemist is not getting... you know, the thing that they'll find Ori. The question is, can they kill him off? Astro Step to try and get some distance. But looks good for Jaunuel. It's not going to be easy to get. It's up in the air. It's similar. They get some distance. Looking likely. For Jaunuel. They've got the charge. They'll have the damage. They'll get the kill on Ori. They will take out the Void Spirit once again.
Make it look easy. And BKB flying out to the Nature's Prophet. Now he's ready to fight. He's going to be super strong in this next fight. You see the Nature's Prophet, net worth on par with the Gyrocopter, even though he was gifted an Aglum Scepter. On DY, potentially in trouble here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Out. Sometimes the best option available. Another axe at the finish. Giving it to the Void Spirit here, but it leaves Alchemist with literally 0. Like, he's gonna be just a glorified support from this point on.
And that was going to be my next question. Like, yeah, you're getting these
Dire's
2
middle
cores bumped up, but having 3 supports now, like, how can get things that might help as time goes on? Like, he's not someone who's going to be lack, maybe get some support items, but is it going to be enough?
Dire's structures.
I will have to see. Like, they need to start winning some team fights on the back of those 2 axe upgrades, and they're smoking up right away.
I want to go for this. They got the smoke that set up. He's got the Earth Splitter. Look at that damage. The outfit over 11, he just melts. Here on the DY, they'll finish off PYW. 3 heroes dead. That almost felt like a last-ditch effort from VG, and they don't even kill the Timber Saw. Going all in on the Timber Saw kind of reminds me of last game when Neon always went all in on the Bristleback. Very similar scenario here. He lives on like a sliver of health, gets his magic stick, loads off, and they lose 3 heroes for nothing. Now into the road pit for Neon. And the ship is going to the Prophet. And there is a snowball on 8k gold ahead against an Alchemist. And they're in a really good position to take this game here. Yeah, this is already Neon with 1 foot over the finish line, looking to cross the ribbon and clean it up.
And I'm just really happy that we see this kind of Neon here. I told you guys before the game started, Neon can be so much better than they were in game 1, and they're really showing it here. They're up to the task of being one of China's best teams.
Yeah, which, again, if you guys are just joining in the middle of the tournament, like Vici was a wild card team. That's how much depth is in the Chinese region. Like you think of Vici as one of the top teams in China, they're coming in from a wild card position, which shows a lot about the region and really shows a lot here about Neon that they're really holding their own and just destroying the second team so far.
Yeah, speaking of Deth,
on a poyoyo. Whether or not he's using the stun is thrown on a Deth. Poyoyo to the side, maybe thinking about jumping in with an Astro step as well. And Rift on the 2. Hold their ground for now. Dead on either side just yet.
Working away at the tower. Getting it. And Puck is just playing with them.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, making them feel a little bit uncomfortable, you know. Stay on your toes, guys. Otherwise, you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, this was the combo that we saw against Fnatic. It was Deviel on the Nature's Prophet and Yopaj on the Puck, where Yopaj ended up saving that game when Deviel kind of found his positioning to not be ideal and, you know, fell in that Divine Rapier and everything that was going on in that first game of that series. They really feel comfortable.
Well. But this time, Prophet once more just... I can't believe he's ahead of network, even though they were gifted Agon 7. Like, that's how rich he is. Another game of just being filthy rich. Once again, Deviel 2000 here. Maybe just kind of banded hero for him. Coil, which... Small mistake here. But, of course, low cooldown, so you set quite easily.
So they don't need to wait too long to get that reset coming in, but it is given time here for Vici. The question is it enough time? Because they're really not doing a lot with the map, but it is something.
What map? They have no map.
Keep the right name onto the PlayHard. Charge over, though. They're going to try and get straight here onto Ori. Gets low, not big just yet. Waiting Rift as well as Yopaj just trying to get the kill here. He is in and out. He is very hard to catch and making Vici's lives a living hell dealing with this Puck.
They have a good hero against Puck, the next assassin. He's just playing very well around the next. He's never getting caught by a carapace, pushing out waves perfectly here. And Yopaj, another really good performance. He has really been getting better and better as the tournament progressed. Very impressed by him. And just Neon as a whole, really. All of them are just playing so well right now.
Well, I think this goes back to your point about players playing better with pressure. Because if you're playing with the stand-in, you had to change your stand-in. The pressure is certainly on your top guys to make something happen. And that's Yopaj. That's, you know, that's the deal. These are two guys that really need to not only play well, but step it up. And they've done so.
PYW here? Yeah, I completely agree with you. But perhaps there could be another reason. You know, like, sometimes when you have no expectations, there's no pressure on you. So perhaps that's why Neon is playing so well, because, you know, you don't expect too much of yourself when you play with a stand and when you're forced into a bad position. You just want to play the best order that you can. And it might even help it to alleviate some of the pressure.
Nice. Did he get it perfect? Yeah, I don't know if that's even going to be enough. It's impressive from Uri, but still lacking what he needs to escape from that situation.
Demo mode practice coming in handy there, but Spirit Breaker still too much. Getting a perfectly timed charge. Gets killed pretty easily here on the Void Spirit still. What damage
yeah. And I mean, he's got 17k net worth. He's really hitting hard going into the Daedalus. He's really going to be tough to deal with. They need to find a way to get on top of this Nature's Prophet, and it's hard as it is with the fucking face. Immediately on the poyoyo, KB getting crashed, looks himself, and it's only a cop for a second of easy. The road setter comes down, that's going to land on the DUI. They've got the Timber Chain as well as the damage to follow it up of all 5 heroes to kill off DUI and get to.
Dire's middle tower.
Prophet's damage is absolutely insane. So much magic damage and physical damage coming out of his item build. And it's not an item build that we see too often. And he's going into huge play into melts. That's just two different sources of magic damage. Deth getting slept up. He's really tanky. Guardian Greaves, Lotus Orpwood. Now middle here. And you know, even if they get a Prophet, I'm not sure they can kill him. He has BKB, he has AC. Where's the damage gonna come from?
They have to catch him on a down moment. Second BKB. On the Deth, they have the damage again with that sliver, and it's just not enough. They're gonna kill the PYW. These heroes have to retreat on Vici. They'll give up the tier 3.
Stun on Deth.
Comes down.
No damage to kill him right now. They need to wait for the gyrocopter. Comment to give up a Rex here. See if Neon plays it safe.
They'll missing.
They will. 15k gold ahead now. Man, Neon is playing. Wow, he actually finished Aghanim Step Down Spirit Breaker. He's so rich on the +5. 7.5k net worth.
Yeah, and that's looking out. I understand. I really do. He's given away 2 Ags, but he has found nothing really more. Like,
well, he found a Blink Dagger, but
nothing to supply himself.
He's just not tanky anymore. Like, you give away so much gold, and they didn't really win teamfights on the back of that gold that he gave away, and now he's just finding himself in a position that he can't really teamfight anymore, which we have seen quite a bit of times in the league. That's the risk of running that hero as offlane. When your factory shuts down because you violated the terms of service, that's him right now.
Can't produce anything more.
Exactly.
Look at the charge coming in with the Axe to go after poyoyo. Astro Step to try and cut down the distance and maybe catch this Spirit Breaker, but it is not finding a home here for Ori. It's such a contrast to last game where we saw Vici do everything right, and now you're watching Neon on the flip side. They're doing everything right so far. Things looked a little bit shaky when they were diving, 10 minutes ago, but they've solidified their lead. They've really stabled it up. They're good to go.
Right, the boundary runes here. I really like what you said there. Like, they were feeling themselves a little bit too much, and they also realized that. Both boundary runes here in front of Skem. A small victory there. And then killing his courier
has been killed.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
The ultimate taunt, man. But you want this bounty rune? Nah. This one maybe? No. And the courier too. Let's go. But nothing on it, fortunately for them. He's not gonna be too frustrated with this. And he's a prophet anyway. He can just fly globally. Pause.
Interesting.
Why not?
The glimmer of hope right there for DY. Still getting couriers, still swiping bounty runes, doing everything he can to make sure that his team is still in it by a slim margin if they can with these bounties. Anything he can do to help, that's the proper mentality here from 5 position of DY.
I've got smoke coming up, but it's a very obvious smoke. They're not pushing out any lanes. And of course now it's already given away. They're taking the outpost out of the smoke.
Dire's
Taking
bottom
quite a
tower
bit of
is
damage
under
in 1
attack.
hour. Catapult. And now counter smoke.
They might catch him coming open mid. Careful, but Neon are the ones retreating. DY did buy back. Neon will not chase too far. This is an elimination game for them, and we talked about the mentality going into an elimination series. Now you're on your last life. Yep. You want to sit back a little bit. Yeah.
Game over if you lose this one.
Maybe dove in. So hold on.
Yes. You gotta play it. I love the discipline cup. Neon. Like, they're a team who used to be very, in over the head, maybe a little emotional even. Sometimes they feel themselves a little too much, going a little too deep, and throw away their advantage. This time, very disciplined. Just an overall, almost perfect game coming from Neon.
They've really stepped up to the plate here. Down to their last strike, and they're not letting the ball get past them. They back off a little bit, giving immediate signals. They're going to ask for the leader and on the Spirit Breaker. Liking everything, however, the kill. to him. You will die. 4 heroes dead on the side of Vici. Potentially just the 2 letters ready to come.
You might wish to retract your
We are
last
just
move.
waiting for it at this point, really. Nature's
Dire's
problem with this item
bottom
build
tower
pushes
has
buildings
fallen.
insanely fast. We'll see if they go for mega creeps. I want to poke the force a little bit. The posture of
Dire's bottom
Neon and the way they've played this game so far, probably going for
Dire's
megas.
bottom barracks are under
Yep.
attack.
Takes the buildings at a decent chunk, but he's got the trees for it.
Dire's middle barracks
Nah,
are
it's
full.
Daedalus 2, there's just
Dire's
so much
structures
damage
are
coming.
fortified.
Prophet. They're glyphing. White Spirit. Can. They cannot defend. They're actually backing off here on the Radiant. Playing very conservatively because Roshan is up. Just want to make absolutely sure they don't make single mistakes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Great mentality, honestly.
Some. This is the right move.
You take the Roach, 8 is cheese, suddenly your advantage is almost nothing.
Radiant are scanned.
Good on you.
I really like to see the patience with them, and they understand their scenario right now. It's something that some teams struggle with, pulling off the gas, and they've done it right. I really,
Dire's courier
especially the
has been killed.
situation they're in, I think that's a really good move there as it goes down, and it'll be a courier dance for 3 minutes 15 for poyoyo. Nothing can really put itself together for him. He doesn't have Yags, Satanic, KB as well as that Maelstrom, but I don't know if that's enough.
He can sustain himself quite well, it's just he doesn't really deal a lot of damage yet. He needs like another 2 items. Probably the Divine Rapier, and then they have a really expensive damage. Do they have enough time for that? Probably not. Neon knocking on the doors here with 30k net worth now. Waiting for the Prophet to pick up all the bounty runes, and then he's gonna be joining the fight momentarily. What are we looking for here? We need a really big ET ult. A really good ET ult, maybe a stomp setup into a good impale. And we need something. Like, we need a better at this point, basically.
Yeah. This isn't a team that's going to be standing still for you to hit a 5-man stomp. This is just not a team that's in that kind of position.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but they'll have to put something out of their head. Maybe if Neon is too defensive, also there's just a chance that Jaunuel will eventually get enough money for that rapier, and then perhaps have a chance at that. Knowing Neon, it should be
once again, and now we'll finally use that got their fingers all back up. Took it from Deth. Still not dying. I've said it 4. I've said it 5, maybe 6 times. Every cycle, not go down again, and it will fall.
GG! Again. So well played by you. And 40k gold lead, over 1 page advantage per minute against an Alchemist. That is pretty damn rare. And Neon just taking the fight right